Welcome to YourHomeLifeRadio.com. This is the GF Joe Radio Show, and I am your host, GF Joe, the only show that is entirely gluten-free. Every Tuesday from 4 to 5 p.m. on YourHomeLifeRadio.com. Welcome to the GF Joe Radio Show, and I am your host, GF Joe, and today's engineer is Nolan. My good buddy Nolan, and we're listening, or you're listening on YourHomeLifeRadio.com. Here it is Tuesday. What month is it? October the 15th or something like that? I don't know. Something like that. Hold on. Wait a sec. Yeah, the 16th. Oops. Anyway, welcome to the GF Joe Radio Show. This is the entirely gluten-free radio show. I discuss everything about your health and choosing a healthy gluten-free diet, and your lifestyle, and what kind of choices you make in having a great gluten-free lifestyle. Now, before we continue on, I just want to say a little prayer to that guy that got hurt in the hockey team down in the ice rink. He collapsed, and they were doing CPR, and I just found out he survived. Thank God. And anyway, we're going to have a little fundraiser for him and his family this Friday at the oh man, I forgot. Darn it. Anyway, we're going to have a fundraiser for him and his family, and I'm going to donate some cookies, some gluten-free cookies, and I'm glad that guy survived. I helped him wheel him out into the ambulance, and it didn't look good. He was blue, and that's all I know. So I just got the word the other day that he survived, and he's on his way to recovery. Anyway, this is GF Joe, and you're listening to the GF Joe Radio Show, entirely gluten-free. Hey, what is gluten? What the heck's going on with this world being gluten-free and all these products showing up on your grocery store shelves? Gluten-free this, gluten-free that. And you're asking your mommy or your daddy or your brother or your sister or your child, what the heck is gluten? What the heck is this stuff? Gluten is a protein found in wheat products or grains, and it is an item that damages people with celiac disease, which is an autoimmune disorder. I have the allergy form of the gluten intolerance. There's two forms. One is the autoimmune system, then there's the allergy form. You either have a celiac response or you have the allergy, an allergy immune system response. Autoimmune is that the body's attacking itself, and the gluten destroys the small microvilli in the small intestines. When you have gluten, that's what's going on right there. So and it destroys, and it gives you symptoms of bloating, gas, headaches, unfocused, and the only known cure right now is to have a gluten-free diet. So all these products, mainly a lot of pastas, breads, wheats, cakes, cookies, all have gluten in it. Condiments, mustards, stuff like that, they have gluten. So the only way to have food when you are a celiac person is to be on a gluten-free diet. And I'm here to help those who just got on the diet. I'm here to help promote a gluten-free lifestyle. If you just want to do it by choice. It is a very difficult diet, but I've been doing this 15 plus years, not by choice. I have an allergy form. That means if I eat gluten, I get a reaction within a few minutes up to within an hour, and then it lasts for like a day and a half. So I've been getting calls, recently. So I started a radio show called the GF Joe Radio Show. I think I have a fun, exciting show. Not all the time, but most of the time I try to have a fun, exciting show. And it is a serious issue. And I just saw on today, there's a lot of celebrities out there that are going on gluten-free, maybe because they really have an issue, either autoimmune celiac disorder or the allergy sensitivity. But Elizabeth Hasselbeck on The View was just on Dr. Oz show today, and I enjoyed Dr. Oz. He embraces both medicines, the Eastern and the Western, which is really cool that he does that. And they had Elizabeth, and she was explaining about her disorder. She has celiac, and and she went through a lot of the same symptoms I did. I had a little bit more longer list. Also, that I had to do the similar thing. She had they couldn't figure out for like 10 years, I think she said on the Dr. Oz show, that she couldn't find out what the heck was wrong with her. And they finally, I guess with her polite persistence, paid off, and they diagnosed her with celiac. Hopefully I'll get her on the show here someday soon. I had one celebrity already, and that was a few weeks ago. But Elizabeth Hasselbeck did what I did before, was the food elimination. When no doctor could find out what the heck was wrong with me, I had to do a food elimination diet, which was suggested by this food allergy book that I had back in the late 90s that was given to me by a friend because I was discussing my disorders and symptoms with them. They said, hey, maybe you should check this book out, read it. It's all about food allergies. And lo and behold, there it was, gluten. And I started reading. It's like, wow, these are all the symptoms I have: headaches, rashes, unfocused. What else did I have? A little diarrhea, I said. And then I started eliminating the food one by one. And then it narrowed it down to about, narrowed it down to 2 ingredients, sugar and wheat. And so when I took the wheat out, I was feeling a lot better within a few days, and then even better after a few weeks. So I diagnosed myself that I had a gluten-free allergy. I didn't get really checked until 3 years later when I was scoped through the mouth for celiac. I didn't have that, so they immediately said, you have a blood test, you have an allergy to wheat and all kinds of gluten. So that's that. And along with that diagnosis, it comes with other issues that come along with that. Is sometimes gluten-free people or celiac or allergy people have food allergies to milk, peanuts, a lot of other food allergies. So I was tested for a whole boatload of allergies, and I have a casein intolerance, which is milk. And then with that milk, you have 2 allergies. One is the casein, the milk itself, the protein, and then you have the enzyme, the lactase. So I can't have either or. Sometimes if I'm dying to have some whipped cream or some cheese, I might do it, but it's not that bad for me in the dairy. But I usually, if I have some kind of dairy, it's usually on a full stomach and very little. So when you have a gluten-free diet, boy, you really got to stick in there. It is a tough situation, but if I can do it, you can do it. That's how I feel. And anybody could do anything if you see another person can do it. And GF Joe and the radio show is all about promoting, supporting my listeners who are on a gluten-free diet, and getting you to a support group or whatever. There is a support group out there, Gluten-Free Support of Florida, here in Largo. Pretty big. There's about 40 people that show up. I was there once. I didn't see the 40 people because they're all doing their own thing, but I know there's 40 people that show up there. That's the Gluten-Free of Florida. I'm on Facebook, by the way. It's on GF Joe Facebook. You can go to my bakery's website. I have a bakery, I'm branding my own bakeries, the GF Joe brand, and it's mainly online right now, but if I need high volume orders, I will rent a facility here in Clearwater, and they have a big facility for me, and I make it all fully dedicated gluten-free facility for myself. You can find me online at gfjoe.com. That's the bakery, and you'll see a picture of me and my artistic rendition of the Big Muscles, which is right behind me on this radio show right now. And I love the GF Joe logo. It's awesome. Everybody loves it, and I put it on my cupcakes. I put it on my cookies. I put it on the website. I love the name GF Joe. Hey, by the way, if you want to call in, there is a phone number here in the studio. It's 727-597-4022. 727-597-4022. I'm really excited. Today I'm doing a little something different. I'm on the left side of the camera. Usually I'm sitting over there, but in front of the radio show words, but now I'm on the left side of the camera. So you could so I could show off my GF Joe radio show lettering. See right there? Good. So gluten-free, I'm going to tell you what's going on gluten-free. Gluten-free is difficult because gluten is in a lot of hidden products, condiments like your Italian dressings, your salad dressings, your soy sauces, your mustards. What else? Anybody else? Who knows? What else? Of course, the pastas, the breads, the spaghettis, the zitis, the cannolis. Well, the cannoli, if you're Italian, it's the shell. Anything with a pie crust shell, that is all gluten. Graham cracker crust is full of gluten, and I used to have that when I was a kid. The graham cracker crust pudding, you know those little 3-inch diameter graham crusted shells. Oh, it was terrific. I loved it. Absolutely great. So I have to make my own now. So when you're walking through the store or the aisles, you got to read the back and see if it has any wheat. White flour is full of gluten. Whole wheat flour. Now, what else? There is unbleached bromated flour, bleached bromated flour. What else is out there? There's a whole laundry list. And you can always either email me at josephc@gfjoe.com, and I can give you that list, or you can go to my website, gfjoe.com, and you go to my links tab, and there's a whole bunch of links there that will have a list of where is gluten found. And it's mainly in the breads and the grains. A lot of my products that I eat are sorghum flour, potato starch, a trimix or a blended mixes of flours to get a cupcake. And I love my cupcakes. I just had one on the way over here. I'm not going to tell anybody. Shh. And it's made of a prepackaged mix. What it is sorghum flour, fava bean flour, tapioca starch, potato starch, and then xanthium gum. You got to have, since gluten, it comes from the Latin word gluteneous. That's the glue, basically making things stick together and keeping all the bread from falling apart. Now, when you don't have gluten in a gluten-free bread, it's going to crumble on you. It's not going to stick together. It's just going to crumble in your hands. So they replaced that with a natural substitute, which is just as good, is xanthium gum, spelled with an X, A-N, xanthium gum. You guys spell it out. You guys can spell. You're educated. Anyway, that's the replacement for gluten right there. A lot of xanthium gum. What else? Am I going to go to a commercial? Is there somebody out there? There's nobody? I'm going to have to keep talking for a little bit longer. I wish that somebody would call in right now. Maybe you could have a caller. Oh, I'll tell you what I'll do is my disclaimer. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. Now, since I am not a doctor, a lawyer, or a scientist, but I do have a college degree, I have to do a disclaimer just in case, even though I call myself an expert, technically I am. I have more than 15 years experience of having a gluten-free diet lifestyle. I'm allowed under the law, according to the FDA, call myself an expert. So if I call myself an expert, I still have to have a disclaimer on my radio show. So here it is. The content of the GF Joe radio show and Entertainment Global Media, owned and operated by the YourHomeLifeRadio.com, is intended for general information purposes only. It is not designed to provide listeners with specific and personal medical counseling service of any advice. The programs are not meant to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The individuals with health problems should always consult their healthcare provider for the professional medical advice, medical medications, or treatments. The views and the opinions expressed by the show hosts or their guests, producer, writers, or editors, or the call-in guests are their own and shall not be construed in any way as advice from the GF Joe radio show. We encourage you to seek professional advice or care for any problem or issue you may have. That is my disclaimer. Thank you for those who are texting me to say that's my disclaimer. I forgot that. Sometimes I have to put that up there. So let me check out Somebody might be calling in, hopefully soon. I don't know. Hey, Nolan, we can go to a little quick song by Simply Abigail. While I'm talking on the radio show, you're listening to the GF Joe radio show on yourhomeliferadio.com. And next up is Chef Vicky will be calling in. We're going to talk to her about her bakery and about her political stuff. Anyway, welcome Simply Abigail while we go away.
Oh, hey, little girl, you packed up your satchel, got your shoes waiting by the door. Take one last look over your shoulder, remember what you're leaving for. You think the road will heal your woes, like time works on broken souls. So you closed your eyes, your dreams of Colorado, so you could put your old life away. You cleared your mind, threw worry out the window, and welcomed in the winds of change. You thought the rain can't fall all on you if you don't want it to. Run this far as time will take you, but you never run away from your brain. Well, come on home to the arms of your father so he can take it all away. Take it away. Take it away, way, way. Take it away. Take it away. Take it away. Take it away, way, way. Take it away. Take it away. Hold on, don't lose your faith, and you'll find you're better someday.
Welcome to the GF Joe radio show. I am your host, GF Joe, on yourhomeliferadio.com. And that was Simply Abigail. Love having her as my commercial break there. Someday I'll get her website on here. No, you know her website. Thank you. Thank you very much. Simplyabigail.com. And we got to caller coming in. Actually, a guest of the GF Joe Radio Show is Chef Vicky. Chef Vicky has her own. Chef Vicky has her own little bakery also here in Florida, and she does a lot of political promoting of the GMO bills that are in there. Hey, is this the Chef Vicky?
This is Chef Vicky. How are you?
Hey, how are you? Welcome to the GF Joe Radio Show on yourhomeliferadio.com.
Thank you.
Tell me about how did you get into being gluten-free? Tell me your story. I got all the time in the world.
My story is I found out my son needed some help in school, and after reading many books, I found out diet could help. So we started pulling different foods, and gluten happened to be one of them that helped him tremendously with his attention and focus and behavior. So after finding that out, then I went about trying to cook for him, to make it taste just like normal food without the gluten. So we got into a whole, not just gluten-free, we did it with gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, corn-free.
Yeah.
A lot of homegrown vegetables, a lot more vegetables, clean meat. We changed our whole entire way of eating. And not only him did it help, but it helped me tremendously with my sleeping. And I could sleep a whole night and go to sleep without having to sit there and go through 100 things in my head first. It was, I was enjoying a good night's sleep. So it helped us all. Yeah.
Terrific. Tell me a little bit about I heard you got a military background, a little bit about that. I'd love to hear that.
Oh, yeah. Went in the military in 1st Cav Division in Fort Hood, Texas.
Wow.
That was an experience, and we went over to Germany and Holland, and I was in the Signal Corps at the time. So we went out in remote areas and put huge antennas up in the air and said, yeah, you can't see us. Yeah, I always thought it was funny because we'd cover all our equipment on the ground, all our trucks and stuff with camo. Netting, which I don't know if you've ever messed with that, but oh my goodness, it's a mess trying to cover radio equipment with a net.
Yeah,
it's just like covering fishing poles. It was horrible. Anyway, we'd cover all that stuff up and then stick a huge antenna up in the air, like yeah,
you got one antenna
coming out of the bushes.
You can't see me. Yeah,
you can't see me. Got the big flag up there saying, yeah, we're the communication department, so yeah, this is the part you want to take out first. So that was enjoyable. And then after I got out of active duty, I went in the reserves down in St. Pete. We had a boat unit, 231st Transportation, and thoroughly enjoyed that.
Terrific.
We drove big boats around, and I organized, we have coastal cleanup this month. And if nobody signed up for that yet, find somebody local near you. There's places all over the coastline and the river shorelines, all the parks.
Yeah.
State parks.
Yep.
You can sign up and help clean up the coastline. But we use those boats. I organized boats to go out to Fort DeSoto and Egmont Key, and we'd clean up all the trash out in Egmont Key, which it's an island. You can only get there by boat, and you'd be amazed at the trash that's out there.
So that's your military background. Terrific. Now you have a little bakery that you do a lot of gluten-free products, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Tell me about that.
I started up thanks to my endeavor into the gluten-free world. I found out there was a lot of other people that needed that too, and my kids who suffered through all the bad recipes finally started saying, this is good. And then my daughter came up with the idea, you need to sell this. This is really good. So that's what I did. I started up gluten-free yummies and started doing not only, the gluten-free, but we do other allergens as well because there are multiple allergens out there.
Yes.
And a lot of people have multiple issues. So I try to bake exclusively gluten and dairy-free on almost everything except for things like cheesecake, which is really hard to take the dairy out of a cheesecake.
Yeah.
We do gluten, dairy, try to keep soy out, and corn. and the other one is any GMO foods, because many people don't realize they have food issues due to the fact that a lot of our food now has GMOs in it, which, the whole nother issue with GI
Yeah.
tract
Yep.
problems
Yep.
and
Whole bunch of
people aren't
allergies.
realizing
Yeah.
where it's all coming from. So unfortunately, our food system or food supply has been completely corrupted. Wheat, good, wholesome wheat that, they had 2,000 years ago is not the same wheat that we have today. It's been completely, natural selection out of the picture. It was human selection. We kept trying to select.
Do you think that the scientists messed with the grain and now it's all different?
It is. I have articles. I have a website for the GMO, labelgmoflorida.com.
Yeah.
I have articles, one specifically relating to the wheat and how it's been so, I don't know if I can say that word on on the radio, but it's been so corrupted.
There you go.
It's not the wheat. Yeah, it's something else was going to come out.
I believe, yeah. Corrupted is a good
It's
word.
not the wheat from back in the day. It's been highly glutenized because, they thought gluten was what made it so good and chewy, so they just kept breeding for high gluten wheat products.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's just not the same, and so many issues. There's so many different proteins in it now that it's not the same species.
What was your bakery website and the GM Joe website? I want to put them on my Facebook page here, Chef Vicky.
Okay, the gluten-free yummies is www.glutenfreeyummies.
Gluten-free
and that's
yummies.
YUNMIES.com.
All righty. There it is. Look at that on my website, on my Facebook page. Yeah. And what was the other one, the GMO?
I'm working with a group that's called LabelGMOFlorida.com, and it's all spelled out, LabelGMOFlorida.com. And it's in California in November. They are voting to have GMOs labeled. And unfortunately, it will only cover California.
Ah.
So I have been working with the people that started up the GMO campaign in California, and we've made a political action committee to this labeled here in Florida as well. Hopefully, we're working on the 5 most populous states right now to get all GMOs labeled. They have labeling in 50 other countries, or it's completely banned.
Wow.
And for some reason here in the United States, we don't get that luxury of knowing what's in our food. They modified the genes of corn and soy, canola, which is canola oils in so many things. Corn has 200 different names, so it's really hard to figure out what has corn in it. Wheat, as you know, gluten, it's not just wheat, it's barley.
Yep, barley, rye, oats.
Barley's the hardest one to figure out because they use it as a brown food color.
Rye,
so
yep. Wow.
It's often hidden, the gluten aspect of the barley malt. I forgot the name of it, but it's some kind of coloring that they use the barley malt for. And they don't call it barley, they call it something else.
Something else. Chef Vicky, for my new listeners, what does GMO stand for?
Genetically modified organisms.
Now,
and often it's referred to as genetically engineered.
Yep.
So sometimes it's a GE food or a GMO. So it's the same, they're talking about the same thing, and that's where they splice different species together to make a new corn product that actually, when a bug eats the corn, their stomach explodes and kills them.
Great. So we, you and I and my listeners do not want GMO products, do we?
I would say not.
No.
There is a wonderful film, if you haven't seen it yet. It's called Genetic Roulette.
Genetic what? What was that? I got you off.
Genetic Roulette.
Genetic Roulette. Okay.
Yes. If you haven't seen it, you really need to see it. And if you're not quite sure what a GMO is, it's not like a food additive. It's not like MSG, and it's not like high fructose corn syrup, which you can see on the label and choose not to buy that. a GMO is spliced genes inside the seed of these things, and
Wow. Yep.
it's not something you can't mess with it. If you watch that movie, there's many other movies that explain what GMOs are, but this one's the latest one that comes out that it has a lot of references from doctors and scientists explaining all the different illnesses that have come about, including a gluten intolerance, gluten and dairy, which are some of the first ones that people pull out if they're having gastro issues.
What are these companies that are sponsoring these GMO products or putting them?
Why, thank you for asking.
Yes.
There's a company.
What companies do we have to avoid?
The biggest backers. Now, 2 months ago, the campaign in California had about 3 million supporting the Proposition 37, which is the label law.
Yeah.
They had about $3 million in support of, and the opposition just got started 2 months ago. And within the 2 months, the opposition has raised over $35 million, mostly sponsored by pesticide companies.
Wow.
So the pesticide companies, why would a pesticide company want to keep GMOs hidden from our knowledge that they're putting this into our food system? That's the biggest question, because they know these plants that they've genetically modified have been designed to be able to soak up pesticides, herbicides without dying. Everything else dies, not these plants. So not only are we getting a genetically modified food in our diet, we're also getting additional pesticides and herbicides because they can completely drench the plants with these and they don't die.
Oh.
So it's not a win-win anywhere, and environmental issues come up with the fact that now we're using twice as much, well, actually I think they've come out to be 5 times as much chemicals on our food. And the food, or the chemicals don't just go in the food, it goes into the ground, which goes into the groundwater, and now it's in our lakes and streams.
Great.
So environmental issues, health issues, the fact that this stuff is out in nature, it produces a pollen that can cross-pollinate with the species of corn and other, they're working on apples now. So all these heirloom varieties of wheat and corn and...
Is that Monsanto company that's always getting ripped apart by...
Yes, Monsanto, the lovely company that has not only brought us Roundup, which is their number one product they sell to these farmers.
They put that in foods, too. They put that Roundup in foods, I read somewhere.
That's what they have found. One of the studies that I have on my site there shows that, I think it was somewhere in the vicinity of 80% of pregnant women were tested to see if they had this, I forgot the name of the chemical that's in Roundup that they tested for, but 80% of pregnant women, and not only the pregnant women, but after the babies were born, the babies had this chemical in their bloodstream.
Great.
It's mind-boggling that it's in us. It's part of us. Our babies are being born with this in their systems already, and you know they're just starting out. They don't need chemicals. We need real food.
Chef Vicki, have you? I did a little research. You know, I've been doing this 15 years. Just recently, have you had any issues with corn oil or corn? I eliminated that from my diet just recently, about 3 months ago. Corn and rice. Do you guys have that in your family or in your diet or no?
We are corn-free. We're gluten, dairy, soy, and corn-free.
Wow, terrific.
So, and I will, and this was by accident that I found out that we don't have issues with organic corn, because I grow a lot of food out in the back, and we can have organic corn and not have issues.
Wow.
The commercial corn, and corn products, it's mainly the corn products that are in everything. So it's, yes, corn, and Dr. Oz show today had a segment on food allergies and how they're such a big issue.
Yeah, today.
And
did you watch that show today?
I did watch that show.
Yeah.
And one of the first things they said to pull was corn, and he unfortunately he didn't have the list I have. That there's 200 food products that are corn that it doesn't say corn. It's just some food product that they've come up with a new name for, like when they changed high fructose corn syrup to corn sugar. Oh, they'll never
yeah.
know it's still high fructose corn syrup if we just change the name a little
Yeah,
bit.
corn syrup.
So,
And then isn't maltodextrin is also a derivative from corn, correct?
yes, it
Yep.
is. And another thing this one I just found out about, ascorbic acid, which is often in your vitamin C tablets, is all GMO unless you buy supplements that
Wow,
are
yes.
GMO-free.
Ascorbic acid is a vitamin C, yeah.
It's a vitamin C, and they often add that to products to make them seem healthier. They put the vitamin C, so they think, oh, you get 10% of your vitamin C if you eat this
Oh,
cereal.
to make you buy it, and then you just are distracted from the real ingredient that's in there that they...
Correct. Oh, and since we're on a gluten-free show here, xanthan gum, you can buy xanthan gum that is not grown on corn, but most xanthan gum is grown on corn. So if you're highly sensitive to corn, you might be sensitive to the xanthan gum that people are using in baked goods.
Well,
So
tell
you
me
have
about
to
that, because I buy, one of my favorite guys is Bob's Red Mills product, and he has xanthan gum. Do they grow that? What do you mean on corn? Tell me about that. They grow it on corn or off of corn?
They grow it on corn, correct. There are products that the xanthan is grown on sorghum and other different things. Xanthan gum is kind of like a bacteria, but there's an easy way to avoid that. Just use guar gum or guar gum, Guar. And there's other natural gum products that you can use as well. But xanthan gum is easily available. It's in most health food stores. Right next to the xanthan gum. So if you do have a corn sensitivity, just use xanthan gum. And I found out that you actually need a little bit more, maybe 50% more guar gum than xanthan gum for baked good products.
Yep. Terrific. And now, how many kids? How many kids you have, and how many are gluten free?
All of us.
Oh, really?
The whole family is. Even the dog now. Yeah, my dog had skin issues, so I took gluten out of her diet too, and she seems to be much, much better. It's amazing.
Yeah. Terrific. Chef Vicki, you've been a great guest here on the GF Joe radio show, which is emanating from Clearwater, Florida studios on yourhomeliferadio.com. We'd love to have you back. And what are your website address again? Tell me that for my listeners.
For the bakery, it's glutenfreeyummies.com.
Uh-huh.
And that's YUMMIES. And our labeling campaign for GMOs is label GMO Florida, no spaces.com. And if anybody wants to help in getting these things labeled in Florida, we are just getting rolling here. I've got probably about 400 people signed up for volunteers. We need people to sign a petition when it's ready. So if they can go to the website and check it out, we need people in every area of Florida to get the petition.
Okay.
To get the petition
signed,
to have it on the ballot next election, we need 700,000 signatures. So we need people all over Florida.
Terrific. I just posted. Okay. Terrific. I just posted those websites on my Facebook page, and that's Gluten Free Yummies, Chef Vicki, and her label GMOFlorida.com.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for having me back on the show.
You're welcome, and we'll have you back again in a few months. Maybe got some new stuff, and
yeah, I'd like to come back and talk about our expo.
Terrific.
It's up in March.
Terrific. That will be maybe back in December. That'll be great. I'll have you back in December.
Sounds good.
Chef Vicki, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Okay. Thank you. You too. Bye.
That was Chef Vicki, and on the GF Joe Radio Show. She has a lot of knowledge about the political end of the labeling and genetically modified. So I call her once in a while, and she gives me little updates, and we're going to have her back on in December. What did I say? December? Yes, sir. Yes, sirree. Hey, Nolan, can we take a break? Is that possible? Give me a break, and my monitor went out, so we got to find a technician to fix that. You are listening to the GF Joe Radio Show on yourhomeliferadio.com. Going gluten-free is for me. Oh, man. So, Chef Vicky, next week or next we'll have another guest, but I believe this is simply Abigail again, right? Be back in a few.
Buried deep underneath all the callous skin and sharp teeth, was a beautiful truth, shimmering on a vulnerability attached to it. I had to dig in bed, but you spilled it, and I realized just how heavy this liquid is, how you've been keeping it from leaking in the wrong way. You feel a part of you is drowning from the weight, but you can't let go just yet. As it soars up your throat to your lips, do you close the door? She throws herself against the wall to break free and come into the light, come into the light. Shoulder deep in your rhapsody, waiting for the higher tide to come over you, totally consume the uneasiness you hide. If they only knew, if they could only see the understanding through your eyes, then the chains that hold your ankles down will let you swim into the sky. Like a Montague and a Capulet, there's a huge misunderstanding. They haven't heard both sides of the story yet, but they told you where they're standing. When you dream, do you see God? Talk to him and ask him where to go. Does it hurt to love so much, knowing she is yet to feel his love, yet to feel his love? was part of that. I wasn't sure of this. I only had one way of thinking. Then you spoke of it the way you did that night, and I could feel my old self melting. The roots took over me, pulled me underground and planted in my brain a new seed. It was beautiful, and when I broke the earth, I woke up and I was singing. You understand the way he did when he broke bread with the peasants. Here they sit, condemning it, missing out on the prophet's lesson. You understand the way he did when he broke bread with the peasants. Here they sit, condemning it, missing out on the prophet's lesson. Ah.
3, 2, 1. We're live. Oh my gosh. What do I do? Welcome back to the GF Joe Radio Show on YourHomeLifeRadio.com. Coming up in a minute. I believe I have a caller waiting on line there. Can you hear me now? Anyway, I believe that we have a caller on the GF Joe Radio Show. Welcome. Who's my caller today?
It's your brother.
Hey,
somewhere.
What's going on? The owner and manager of the Camera Italian Bakery in Clearwater, correct?